It's the 2K Sports pregame show, sponsored by Kia.
Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson here with my colleagues, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. Our featured matchup tonight in Chicago, where the Bulls will be going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And for Cleveland, prior to the game, Coach commented on their level of confidence in the locker room, and he feels that they are prepared with a very strong game plan at the various matchups. And Kevin Love in action tonight. He could have made the decision to try his luck elsewhere, but he chose to re-sign in Cleveland. What do you guys think of that decision?
Oh, I mean, it's a great decision. Sometimes you're not as featured in certain offenses, but you're winning. And he knows that him in the lineup there in the East, they have a chance to win it all. I'd rather win and get paid than get paid and be on a team that's just mediocre.
You know, his numbers won't be the same as long as he's in the second option, but you understand why he stayed. He's playing with the King.
Are you down with the
King?
Just about time for tip-off. We'll see you later.
Nightfall in the Windy City with the Willis Tower and the rest of downtown Chicago lighting up the sky. The Cavaliers are out of Cleveland as they take on their Eastern Conference rival in tonight's contest. It's the NBA, and it's live right here on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan, and by my side are analysts Greg Anthony and Doris Burke. From the sideline, we'll have the Hall of Famer David Aldridge. We'll be hearing from him in just a bit. And before this game gets going, let's send it over to David Aldridge, who caught up with head coach Fred Hoiberg. David.
Well, Cavs head coach Tyronn Lue hired midway through last season. The first-time head coach, he played 11 seasons in the NBA and won 2 championships with the Lakers. He spent 6+ seasons on the bench as an assistant coach. LeBron James said there's nothing that he hasn't seen. He's played for Phil Jackson. He's coached with Doc Rivers. He's been all over, so he has experience. Kevin?
Thanks, D.A. Certainly a lot expected of everybody in Cleveland. Couple conference rivals going head-to-head. That ups the ante in this one.
A certain amount of, I know you too well.
Yeah.
I don't like you. We've seen each other too much. The games have been too hard. It's the complete antithesis of what you and I feel for one another, Kevin.
But Doris, having played, having coached, do you really know a team too well? Does that really come with that kind of familiarity?
Well, yeah, I think sometimes, you know this guy wants to go right if he puts it on the deck. You know that he's going to pull up the jumper going to the mid-range. I mean, there's just so many tendencies. When you've seen a team over and over like we've done here, you get to know their tendencies so well that I'll tell you, the game becomes very challenging.
And a look at the starters for the Cavaliers. Sharpshooters Irving and J.R. Smith are the backcourt duo. LeBron and Love, the 2 superstar forwards. And it's Thompson in at the 5 spot.
Well, with J.R., sometimes it doesn't matter how much you get in his face. He can still knock it down with the best of them.
Rondo kicks to Lopez. The feed now to Wade. It doesn't go for him. Good work defensively by Smith. On the wing, Irving. Misses the 3. Cavaliers on D. It's a 3-point game. Rondo kicks to Lopez. Outside Butler. Gibson with it. Guarded now by Kevin Love. That doesn't fall. Can't drop his first shot. Cleveland's gone 1 of 2 from long range in the first quarter. Here's LeBron. That's in, coming off the assist from Thompson.
Just a high percentage look for LeBron. I mean, he's so good in the post.
Bulls still looking like they're getting going. Rondo dishes to Butler. Pass to Gibson. Back to Butler. Lopez left side. Shot clock at 6. The shot by Wade, wide open. Nails the wide open jump shot.
Could be the first of a lot of mid-range jumpers that we see from him.
Oh, absolutely. If they're going to allow him that kind of space, he's going to make more than his share of those today.
Now, here is Irving. It's a pick by Love. Irving with the ball. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Guys, if you look at Kevin Love last season, by some metrics, a top 10 player in the league and among the top 2 power forwards in the league. But you think about the negativity he's had to overcome. There were questions about whether his confidence had waned. Was there a disconnect amongst the players? I think all in all, he's done very well.
That free throw good from Kevin Love. And you talk about the criticism for Kevin Love. His former teammate with the Timberwolves, Ricky Rubio, questioned his leadership in Minnesota. And even, Doris LeBron has been critical at times.
Well, I think if you ask me, Kevin, all he can do is focus on making plays and helping his team win big. If you're going to get too caught up in what others are saying about you, you can lose your way pretty quickly. I think greatness requires sacrifice, and Kevin Love has fit beautifully as a secondary scorer here. He spaces the floor with that shooting ability, willing to hit the offensive glass, and he's become a player who can score efficiently without dominating the ball.
Now here's Butler. Wade outside. Unloads from 13. Thompson with the rebound. The Cavaliers leading by 5. Irving with the ball. He's picked up by Rondo. LeBron kicks to Love. Lopez with the steal. Butler against LeBron. Butler passes to Gibson. And stolen by LeBron. Down low. Here's Thompson. Good, and the assist goes to LeBron. At the same time, the Love creates breathing room for others with his shooting. Doris, it's clear he doesn't want to be reduced to just being a floor spacer.
Well, and I don't think, Kevin, that's the best role for him either. He's a player who can work from the elbow and on the post. He makes plays for himself and those around him. They've got to run the ball for him at times to get him touches and allow him to make plays. He's had a tough quarter shooting the ball, but one thing you have to give him, he's fighting out there.
Thompson, a screen on Butler. Lets it go from deep, and LeBron James good for 3. James has got 5 points so far. And the first time out of the game called for Chicago. And for Irving last season, Doris, he limited his drives to the rim to try to protect his health.
Well, I think, Kevin, you come back from a fractured kneecap in 2015 playoffs, you understand that mentality. Health has been a question. He's missed significant time to injury in the majority of his 5 NBA seasons. And I don't think this is a sign of things to come.
So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group here. Mirotic is checked in for Gibson. McDermott comes in for Jimmy Butler. Valentine's checked in for Dwayne Wade. And it's Jaren Grant in for Rajon Rondo. And the Cavaliers will go with a different look here. Channing Frye's checked in for Thompson. Jefferson comes in for Kevin Love. Iman Shumpert is checked in for Smith. And it's Williams in for Kyrie Irving. Now here's Valentine. McDermott for 3. He doesn't hit that one. Jefferson with some nice D. Now, here's Fry. He's tightly guarded. The shot by Williams, no good.
And even though he missed that, you have to take those shots when you get the opportunity.
No question. If you don't take it, you actually go away from what the scheme is trying to create.
Grant, and he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Guys, this guy is 6'5", and make no mistake, Jaren Grant is a true point guard. Arguably the best passer in the 2015 draft class.
Chicago shooting their initial free throws of the game right here.
Yeah, and 79% from the line as a team a season ago. Pretty reliable in that regard.
No good on that one. And Grant aggressive off the dribble, Doris. He pushes the tempo.
Well, this guy loves to get into the lane, use his size to finish. He also uses that size to see over the top of the defense.
And the second free throw, good.
Talking about Jaren Grant, we know he comes from a prolific basketball family, but make no mistake, this is a dynamic basketball talent.
Now here's Williams. Here's James. The basket is good off the assist from Williams. And that's now 7 points for LeBron.
LeBron has become such an accomplished mid-range shooter. You've got to crowd him or he's going to drop that one in every time.
8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Good on the bucket.
Just no chance for the smaller defender to block that shot.
Yeah, that's a high percentage look from mid-range for someone with his size and his touch.
There's a good screen. Feeds it to Williams. Fires for three. He can't get that one to fall. And that does it for the first quarter. Cavaliers on top, up by 9. And the second quarter about to get started. We'll be back in just a moment. And LeBron James trying to will his Cavaliers team to a title. Teammate Kevin Love says LeBron made it clear from the start what he expected.
He sat us down maybe right before the first practice and kind of spoke about what he thought everyone should bring to the table. And we had to hold up our end of the bargain.
When someone like LeBron talks about what you need to bring to the table, you better bring it.
There's no doubt about that. Dubbed the new Big Three along with Kyrie. I think if they just keep following LeBron's advice, the sky's the limit.
And welcome back to the NBA on 2K Sports. More action in store as the players get ready to go, having a nice break to get hydrated with Gatorade. And from what we've seen from the Cavaliers, what do you guys see?
Defense paying huge dividends for them through the first.
This is a savvy group. They know when to body up and play physical and when to back off.
Mirotic and Gibson up front. Valentine out there with Grant. And it's Snell in at the 3 slot. So that's the 5 in the game for Chicago. Here's Snell. He feeds it to Mirotic. 6 to shoot. There's the 3. His shot is good, making him a perfect 2 for 2 from the floor. Of course, you've talked to so many and heard a lot of insight on which coaches in the NBA have the most impact on the game. You've coached, you've played. Gather it in for us. Give us a compass on this topic.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because you can go in a lot of different directions. You look at a guy like Doc Rivers, who because he played, seems to be this natural affinity of the players. You talk about a player's coach, understands relationships, won a championship in Boston, convinced a group of offensive-minded guys like Paul Pierce and Ray Allen that they needed to play defense to the level of Kevin Garnett. You also look at a guy like Eric Spoelstra, who, though he is young, paid his price to come up through the ranks. Talks about spending years in that dark, dank Miami video operations room. But when guys like Jeff Van Gundy, Stan Van Gundy, Doug Collins are complimenting you as a young guy in Eric Spoelstra, I'm thinking he's got a pretty good future.
Are you surprised when good coaches don't win in the league?
Yes, but I think so much goes into winning. You have to remain healthy, and over the course of an 82-game schedule, that's hard. You've got to have great organizational strength, Kevin. We know that now ownership and general managers have to be as strong as the head coach. And listen, there's luck. Sometimes injuries play a part in who you match up against and who you don't. There's so much to winning.
Wonderful insight. And Grant drops them both. One thing the Bulls have to deal with that is unique to their franchise, Greg, is a extremely high expectation factor from their fan base.
And when you have a rich franchise history like the Bulls, it's a double-edged sword. Fans can always look back at the great years in the 90s, but they'll always long for a return to those days, and sometimes the expectations can be too much.
Now here's Gibson, following the miss by Kevin Love. And Thompson sends it back.
Oh, the former Longhorn Thompson really elevating for the rejection. Love the energy, guys.
No coverage that time. Irving's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. And here's Wade. Outside Gibson. Now here's Butler, defended by Dunleavy. Fades back, and it's Butler missing.
And that's really just not heads-up basketball. Don't try a fadeaway when nobody's guarding you.
Now Smith on its way from Irving for 2. Yes, and it's Smith with the assist that time. And now it's an 11-point Cleveland lead. They really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, their offense has ground to a standstill.
Chicago calls timeout.
I think it's clear J.R. Smith settling into his role as a three-point specialist as his career tends toward the back nine. You know, he can still elevate and finish above the rim when the opportunity presents itself, but he knows his role.
Some changes for Chicago. Robin Lopez is checked in for Gibson. Doug McDermott comes in for Mirotic. Rajon Rondo subbed in for Jaren Grant. And then for Cleveland, Richard Jefferson. He's checked in for Dunleavy. And Mo Williams subbed in for Kyrie Irving. Second quarter of play with almost 3 minutes gone. Here's Rondo. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. Here's Wade. And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line. And Smith with size and athleticism. We all know pretty good at hitting contested shots.
So, Kevin, we know he's got no conscience as a shooter. His motto is, when in doubt, shoot the ball. His decision-making obviously questioned at times, but the way he shoots it, it's not a bad idea.
And Cleveland making a change here. James is checked in. That free throw good from Wade.
You know, for the Cavs, it's obviously taken some time for them to develop the chemistry between their, quote, big three and understanding how to integrate the talent of all of them into their offense. There's only one ball, and with all that scoring ability, I think it can be a little bit of a challenge to keep them all in the mix.
And that's sort of been the story here today, hasn't it?
Oh, no doubt. They've struggled to defend with any kind of effectiveness. That's why they're so far off the pace.
Now here's Rondo. And with that shot, the Cleveland lead is cut to just 9 points on the basket from Wade. And it seemed like down the stretch last season, the Cavs' big three started to find more comfort playing together, wouldn't you say?
I don't think there's any doubt, Kevin. And sometimes it's your chemistry off the court that breeds it on the court. As you become closer with players personally, you start to trust them as individuals. It enables you to play for one another as opposed to with one another.
Okay, well, let's go down to David Aldridge for a report from the sideline.
Well, Kevin, Kyrie Irving was a virtuoso ball handler when he came into the league. He could penetrate at will and get to the rim. But with all the injuries over the years, he's made an adjustment to that. He said, I enjoy finishing around the big men, but honestly, I'm trying to stay off the floor. I'm not going to stop trying to get to the basket, but with the big men we have, we don't have to do it every single time. We all learned that lesson over the years, Kevin.
You pay the price going in there, don't you, D.A.? Thank you. Some changes for Chicago. Tony Snell comes in for Butler. And it's Valentine in for Dwayne Wade. Channing Frye's checked in for the Cavaliers. Iman Shumpert has come in for J.R. Smith.
And when you talk about what a two-way player is in the NBA, Jimmy Butler epitomizes that. I mean, he can carry a team on offense in so many ways. You know, he came up more so as a defender and has continued to wear that role with pride. And I think that's one reason why, if you're a Bulls fan moving forward, you have to feel good knowing that he's one of the cornerstones of your franchise.
Bulls trail by 13. 5 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Outside Rondo. Lopez a screen. McDermott kicks to Lopez. And he banks in the layup.
It's a great example of Lopez getting right to where he wants to go on the pick and roll and getting his shot up quickly. That helps you have success.
James outside. Another three for Cleveland. And we finished one half of basketball. Cavaliers lead by 14. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks a lot. Kyrie, what were you all focusing on coming into the game tonight?
Come out with a intense focus and intensity that other teams can't match. Just doing whatever it takes to keep our tempo. Guys are in a great rhythm when we have a great tempo, so just trying to get everybody involved and do whatever it takes to win.
Well, we'll see if you can keep playing at your pace in the second half. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you, and stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime to get the third quarter started.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hi again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Welcome to the 2K Sports Halftime Show. LeBron James putting in some incredible work. He had 13 points, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Multiple times we saw the bench cheering him on in the first 2 quarters of this one. Kenny, your thoughts? How are the Cavaliers playing?
Well, they went downtown and threw a party, and fortunately, we were all invited. The key is that shooters weren't afraid to pull the trigger on open looks, and it's a blowout right now.
How about you, Shaq? What did you think about Chicago?
Well, they're obviously facing a hot shooting team tonight. That combined with a lackluster effort on defense, recipe for disaster, Ernie. Without major improvements defensively, this game is OVA, over.
And that about wraps it up, as the second half is just moments away. Now down to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the crew, and we will see you after the game, won't we?
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
And as we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started. What can you say, LeBron James? What an impressive effort today.
Yeah, one of the things about the truly greats of our game is that sometimes you get spoiled because of how consistent they can be. And so far, another big scoring night for him.
Amazing, because they're always a focal point for the defense and always looking for ways to take him out of the game, and that didn't happen in this first half.
Bottles, popping bottles.